She was the quiet new girl, the one nobody noticed, the one everyone ignored. But when the school's most popular bullies tried to humiliate her by tearing her dress in front of the entire crowd at the winter dance, they thought she would cry. They thought she would break. What they didn't know was that behind her silence was a storm, and when it spun, it didn't just fight back, it made the whole room stop. Aanya had always known how to disappear. She was the kind of girl who blended into the corners of classrooms, moved like air through crowded hallways, and sat quietly through lunch without ever being asked her name. Jefferson High didn't notice when she arrived mid-semester. And she preferred it that way. No one asked where she was from. No one knew why she transferred. And Aanya never offered answers. But behind her soft eyes and quiet voice was something coiled. Something trained. Something waiting. Jason, the golden boy of Jefferson High, didn't like being ignored. He was used to being the center of attention, captain of the football team, homecoming king, the one who controlled the spotlight. And when Aanya didn't even glance at him during class or in the halls, something in him itched. He watched her from across the cafeteria, from the gym bleachers, waiting for her to slip, to speak, to react. She never did. She thinks she's better than us, Jason scoffed one day, slamming his locker shut. Time someone reminded her who runs this place. His friends, Drew and Marco, laughed. She's a ghost, man. What's the point? But Jason smiled, and it wasn't kind. The winter dance was coming. And he had a plan. Aanya wasn't going to attend. She hated crowds. But her art teacher, Ms. Rivera, gently nudged her. You don't have to hide forever, she said kindly. Let the world see you, even if just for one night. That night, Aanya walked into the decorated gym wearing a flowing, midnight blue dress that shimmered like starlight. Her dark hair was braided back, revealing calm eyes and a silent strength. And for the first time, people saw her. Even Jason was caught off guard. Damn, he muttered, eyes locked on her as she crossed the floor like she belonged there. She actually thinks she's someone. And with that, he nodded at Drew. They moved toward her, grinning. Pretending it was a joke. Pretending they weren't about to humiliate her in front of everyone. It happened in a flash. Drew stepped behind her, grabbed the back of her dress, and ripped. The sound of tearing fabric cut through the music like a scream. Aanya froze. Gasps spread like wildfire. Phones were pulled out. Laughter erupted. Jason chuckled cruelly, expecting her to run away crying, broken. But Aanya didn't run. She didn't cry. She looked at Jason, and then, she spun. What the bullies didn't know was that Aanya had trained in martial arts since she was 5. That she held a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo. That she had survived far worse than this. With one elegant twist, she sent her heel crashing into Jason's chest. He flew back into the drink table, knocking over plastic cups and falling hard. Drew lunged, but she was faster. Aanya ducked, swept his legs, and dropped him to the floor in a single, perfect move. Gasps turned to screams. Marco tried to grab her from behind, but she spun, caught his wrist midair, and flipped him clean over her shoulder. The entire gym froze. Phones stopped recording. No one laughed now. Aanya stood in the center of the dance floor, torn dress fluttering like a war flag, her breathing calm, her eyes locked, her feet grounded like a warrior. Jason groaned in the corner. Drew was clutching his back. Marco lay staring at the ceiling. And Aanya. She had never looked more alive. By the next morning, the entire school had seen the video. It went viral before sunrise. Real-life superhero. Don't mess with the quiet ones. She didn't fight with rage. She fought with control. Jason and his friends were suspended. Police were involved. And Aanya. She was no longer invisible. But she didn't change. She still sat in the back of class. Still walked quietly through the halls. The only difference now was that people stepped out of her way, not out of fear, but respect. Later that week, Ms. Rivera found her again. You okay? She asked gently. Aanya looked up, calm. I didn't want to fight. Ms. Rivera smiled. You didn't. You stood. And that's braver than most. Isla didn't respond right away. She stared out the window, watching the leaves shift in the wind. I used to think staying silent made me strong, she whispered. But sometimes, being seen is harder. Scarier. And you did it anyway, Ms. Rivera said. Isla finally smiled. And maybe that's the truth about people like Isla. They don't break when the world tries to shame them. They rise, with grace. With power. With fire hidden behind quiet eyes. Because sometimes, the strongest souls are the ones no one saw coming.